Hello, music lovers. It's a beautiful day here in the Fox Valley of Wisconsin. It's the end of November while I'm filming this, and our first big winter storm hit a few days ago, effectively flipping the snow globe and shifting us into a winter wonderland here at the 44th parallel north. It is pretty looking out the window, but a little chilly walking out the door. When I woke up this morning, it was 7 degrees Fahrenheit, aka minus 14 degrees Celsius for all of our friends up in, Canada, who have wisely embraced the metric system. Well, our friends in Canada and just about every other country outside of the US. Cultural inertia, y'all. It's real. Anyway, I'm as excited as a polar bear on fresh ice for this episode. After a recent songwriting session with my longtime collaborator Matt Lipscombe, we recorded a conversation for this new video series I'm beginning. It was the kind of discussion that often preludes our songwriting sessions and will often trigger the song idea that we'll be chasing that day. So in this talk, we touch on human creativity and its place in the modern AI landscape, our unique connections with Music Row, Nashville, Tennessee, farm life, family life, how to develop and nurture relationships in the music business, government grants for the arts, and how to overcome rejection, when to release your imperfect work, and how to continue finding inspiration everywhere so you can write your next best song. Okay, let's begin.
Today is the day we celebrate
Hello, music lovers. I'm here today with my good friend Matt Lipscombe, all the way from Montreal, Canada. But here we are, just finishing up a songwriting session as we have been doing for 10 years, a dozen years. How long have we been writing songs together, Matt?
Something like that. Yeah. So I've been going to Nashville for 14 years. And we probably met on one of the first trips. So we've probably been writing for maybe over 10 years now.
Yeah. You were one of the first people I connected with when I was still just kind of flirting with Nashville, going in for different conferences, song camps, and things like that. And we connected at, I think, an NSAI event, and I think we may have connected over the soul patch and the cool hats and some good country songs. And
yeah, you eventually moved to Nashville, and you invited me over to a write on your farm.
It's true. It's true. We moved to do Ashland City, Tennessee, which was maybe about 25 miles northwest, up the mountains from Nashville. Lived on a beautiful 6 acres of rocky top Tennessee surrounded by forest. And then we got a bunch of goats and chickens and did the hobby farm life and wrote some country music while living in country USA.
That was a fun time.
Yeah, and that's I think that's the first time I heard whippoorwills in my life. Whippoorwills and crickets were like the nighttime choir out there, which they've made it into a few of my songs. And I think the first song we wrote that I remember, neither of us were living in Nashville. I think you had an Airbnb you were staying at, and we wrote a tune called "Something Out of Nothing," which is still pretty cool. I go back and listen to it once in a while, and it's a cool idea. Kind of has like a 70s Eagles vibe to it. So I think what we did is we approached it as, I've written other songs like this too, where I'm writing a song and I don't know what to write about, so I just write a song about writing a song. Like, what are we doing here? Oh, we're trying to make something out of nothing, which is what creators are always doing. And then we twisted it into a story about a relationship and
out of thin air. It's wild. Yeah, we've had some songs that really have turned people's ears in Nashville. I don't know, the best part, I mean, there was a few, publishers were saying it was great, and that's not a word you hear very often in Nashville, and they were like, yeah, well, I had one publisher, when he heard that song, the best part, he's like, he said, you bring me 3 or 4 more songs like that. He says you can compete against anybody in the world. So he was like saying that song was world class. That was Gilles Godard who said that.
Yeah, that was Gilles, who's and where's he now? He was at Anthem for a minute.
I want to get him on the phone right now.
Have you heard this song, Gilles? We just finished it right now.
He's the head of Anthem Entertainment, the publishing division.
He is at Anthem now, yeah, and they're doing some great things. I know he's celebrating. Jordan Davis is one of his proteges who keeps on hitting. Jordan's got such great material. Yeah, the best part. There's a good story about that one, which my friend Mike Malone highlighted in his video series. But it turned out so well that it inspired me to release a full-length album, which I hadn't done for about a decade previous. And that song really was what instigated the whole thing.
Cool. So many really cool vibes.
Yeah.
Oh wow, it's such a great ride. I listened to it beginning to end. I haven't done that in a long time. Listen to Joe Sly's record, beginning to end. Like light a candle, do whatever you need to do. Put your yeah, it's just such good vibes and really just great songs.
Oh gosh,
really fun ride.
Well, I appreciate that so much. And so the best part is actually the track that starts off the whole album, which the vinyl is. It's a great way to put the needle down and hear the best part coming in with the oh yes, and we also had
horns and everything. You really went all out with the live musicians and everything. It's so cool.
Yeah. And that album also features one of my favorite songs that I've written with anybody, which is called Deeper Well, which we wrote that, again, a long time ago, and it kind of hung around as just a guitar vocal thing.
That record. I know. It's so cool because I'm listening to this great record and I'm totally enjoying it. Every now and then I hear some, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I know, that sounds familiar. It's, oh, yeah, that's right. We wrote that song together. That's so
right. Cool. So that one turned out really nice, kind of a little simpler. And that's, we were talking earlier before I started recording here about the mastering process for vinyl, which I started to learn a lot more about before I pressed this vinyl album. So if you notice, the best part at track 1 has a lot of dynamic elements. It's got a lot of percussion, a lot of cymbals, a lot of vocals, a lot of horns, and then Deeper Well is actually the last track on side A. So there's something in the physics of an album, and when you master it, where as you get towards the center of the album and the needle is, making that, hitting a full rotation a lot sooner because of physics, you lose a little bit of fidelity. So it's not good to have a lot of songs that are, big and a lot of cymbals and high end and horns and things, because it might get lost on that inner ring. So, going back and you hear, in the age of vinyl, a lot of side A's and side B's are laid out that way, with sort of the bigger, fuller sonic things in the first part of the tracks, and then like the softer ballads as like track 5, 6 towards the inner part of the album.
That Beatles song, Her Majesty is a pretty nice girl, but she doesn't have a lot to say. Like that thing is just like vocals and guitar. Yeah.
Right. So that was.
And that's the last song of the record.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of how I worked, that song Deeper Well to be track whatever it was, 5 or 6, to have that little spot right before you hit the label. But yeah, and that song's been a staple. I've a bunch of whenever I play solo acoustic shows or duo shows, there's a bunch of our other songs that are staples. I start so many acoustic shows with it doesn't happen overnight, but thank God we got the rest of our lives. Forever wasn't built in a day. That one, yeah, that's a staple. I love starting. It's a great, just E major, A major song, and
I forgot about that song. That's cool.
Something Called Us, which is a great one.
And also a song about a rodeo. That was a pretty cool vibe too.
Oh, the first rodeo. Yeah, This Ain't Your First Rodeo. It's a good country song. Another one, I just saw this sweatshirt. So when I was living in Tennessee, I was teaching at this amazing music school in Hendersonville called Cedarstone. The owner of that school, Kevin Ray Lawson, he heard our song called A Little Something Something Called Us. And
that's another song that got picked up by a publisher, and they put it on his catalog. One of the top publishers in Nashville.
Yeah.
What was his name? Shane Barrett.
Oh, Shane's great.
In his catalog, and he loved that. I just saw him recently in Nashville, and he still remembers that song.
Oh yeah. So Kevin liked the vibe, and Kevin was working with some other artists at the time who were getting some traction, and he really dug the vibe of that song. So he wanted to alter a couple things that would fit with the artist. So him and I met, And, I think we kind of worked the verse a little bit differently, and we retitled it as Something Called Us. And so that one's got a really cool vibe as well, and I still play that in a lot of our shows. I'm just a fan of a lot of the things that we've made, and it's been even across.
I feel the same way, man. And so is my wife. My wife's a fan of you and your singing and the songs that we do together. Like that song, a little something with that reggae country vibe,
Reggae country, yes.
Song, and she also loves the best part.
Yeah. So it's been great, and it's interesting too. We were talking about this earlier, how we kind of live these lives as a creative or as a songwriter, and it's sort of been our mode of operation for a while, that we take it for granted that right now we are 1,000 miles apart in different countries, but yet we just got done with a writing session, made another great song called Before I Get Stoned, which I'll try to link to the demo that we make of that one. And
publishers have picked up on this one. They're asking for some tweaks, so we just made the tweaks, and we're going to re-demo it and see what happens.
So sometimes that can be valuable if it's someone you trust and someone who's got more experience, and they, that's helpful. We all have mentors that are doing that same thing. Like they're giving you suggestions based on like, oh, I would have done it this way, or the masters before me would have done it this way, and that's sort of what a teacher does, I suppose. But at some point you also just have to, trust the things that your heart is saying is right, because again, we're bringing our own unique perspective to it that is not the same as what these people are saying about how they would have done it. And it's an interesting dance, isn't it?
Yeah, I went to one of these conferences, and these got the Peach Pickers, which at the time in Nashville they were having like multiple number ones a year. They were like a songwriting team, and they would get together 4 times a week and write songs, and basically write 4 songs a week, write and demo, and they were getting multiple number ones every year. They were like on top of the heap.
Totally.
And their mantra is write the next song. Their mantra is not rewrite the next song, rewrite it till it's blue in the face.
Right.
It is not. And they said, if they got a comment from a publisher, whatever, change this, tweak it, they tweak it, but they wouldn't obsess about rewriting. They just write the next song. Because you never know what the next song, even in that creative, sometimes like I'm working on an idea, and then I'll just, it's not really going anywhere, and I'll just like write the next song within the same writing session, like let's move on to another idea. Let's move on. It's like what Winston Churchill says. Like I'm going to quote Winston Churchill: "Failure is never fatal, and it's never final. You don't die from failure, and it's not final. Just because you failed once doesn't mean you fail again. It's just, he says it's the courage to continue that counts. Mm-hmm. And it's like, it's just like you get knocked down, you get back up, and you do it again, and it just gets better because and they can't stop you from getting back up,
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the human spirit.
Those are great words, because it expands upon the idea that no doesn't mean you're dead, doesn't mean no, you're done for. It means no, not right now, no, not at this time, no, not quite. But like,
or it actually just means no, not for me, but
not for me,
for somebody else.
Right.
It's like rejection is redirection. So
rejection is redirection.
Another door, so you don't take it personally. After a while, you don't. Nashville hasn't really been good for me in terms of like getting a thick skin. It helps you get a thick skin, and it helps you not take things personally. Like it's just the film director, a friend of mine, was saying, is like sometimes when people give you feedback, they don't know how to articulate. It's not, they can tell you that it's wrong, but they can't tell you how to fix it.
I often talk about reframing things, because that's just it. Sometimes a different frame, a different perspective of the same content, but just like you said, a slightly different chord here. Maybe the demo has a different sound. All we've done is reframe the idea.
It's like some of these guys are musicians, or whatever, but some of these guys are not. So he's just like, it doesn't sound like country radio. It doesn't sound like kind of like Americana. It's like, okay, so we just present it in a different way that's more rock and more current to what's happening right now, and then sounds like country radio.
Exactly. So you've brought up a couple times that you've mentioned publishers in Nashville. So what is your relationship or understanding about how songwriters like us work with publishers in a place like Nashville, which is one of the music capitals of the world, certainly?
So they really kind of want to get to know you as a person and your character, and are you someone that's dependable, that they can count on. I was told that at the beginning when I got to Nashville that, you know, when you meet people, whatever you do, don't talk about your music. Which was weird because it's like I'm at a networking event and I'm not supposed to talk about the music. Yeah, just talk about anything else. Talk about sports. Talk about your kids. Talk about you know, hunting, fishing, whatever. It doesn't matter. Just not music until they bring it up. You know, and because they want to get to know you as a person first, music later. Yeah, so it's a town that's a lot of it's about hanging. It's about just meeting people and networking. You know, you can have good songs. You could be actually the best songwriter in your town, you know, but when you come to Nashville, then it's like join the clubs. Like everybody else is the best songwriter in their town too, and it's like everybody's, you know. So the bass line is like it's like everybody's submitting songs that are pretty good. So everything's like pretty good. So it's like really coming up with something that's undeniable. It's like that, you know, and it's chill bump inducing. Like that's really, you know, it has to get to a point where it's like it just bypasses their brain and they just feel it and they go into convulsions and they can't deny it, you know. So that's, yeah, you get a lot of no, you get a lot of rejection, but what ends up happening is you just get better and you get better and better. It's a town that just kicks your ass and just forces you either like give up or you get better, and we've been just getting better.
Yeah, and so many of those things that you said are brilliant, and I've experienced them in the same fashion from first visiting Nashville and then living there. You're right. The publishers, they're just music lovers like any of us, and that's their passion and that's their day to day. But they are putting their reputation on the line to represent you. And you know, a lot of writers, they get frustrated with facing the rejection, like you said, a lot of no's. But the thing is, the people that are telling us no, they are also oftentimes doing the same process. They're pitching or playing songs that they totally believe in. They're putting their reputation on the line for, and they're playing it for the next tier up who is hearing it, and more often than not, saying, no, not quite. Or
oftentimes it's like not the right fit. They're playing
right.
for artists or artist managers or producers, and they're looking for something specific for a project, and they're like, well, it's like the artist is like, that's cool song, I love it.
Right.
Are you gonna sing it? Nope.
Not for me.
You know, like,
right. It's a great song, but not for me. And the other thing that I was impressed upon me back then was that no. It doesn't often mean like no, the end. I don't like you or your songs. Never. It usually means no. Not right now. No, this is not the right fit for, like, this could be a great song. If I heard this 3 months ago when I had that particular project in mind, it would have landed great. So there's the timing is obviously a huge part of it, luck and timing. And what do they say? The harder you work, the luckier you get. So you just use that no as more fuel, more compost to turn over in your garden to grow the next harvest of beautiful fruits and vegetables.
That's a good way of looking at it. You have to enjoy the process. In the meantime, you writing songs with artists gets the song recorded and gets the song out there, and that's exciting too because you're making it from the ground up. You know, I've got songs I'm releasing really soon with an artist, and it's getting mastered right now, and yeah, it's exciting to see what happens with that.
Always very exciting when an artist is about to release or releases something that you were a part of as a writer or producer. It's always such a great feeling, or to see your song actually landing somewhere, because a lot of times we're writing and we might have a destination in mind, like, oh, we'd love an artist to cut this, or we'd love this to be used in the next season of whatever show, but you know, so many times we're just, you know, casting seeds to the wind and hoping one will take root somewhere. So when they actually do, it's always such an amazing, exciting feeling. I wonder if you can speak to, you've mentioned this before, I'm not sure if it's quite a thing, but you talked about how in Canada, how you used to, and maybe you still do, get government grants, essentially gifts to continue in your musical endeavors. Is that still a thing, or how did that, or how does that work?
Well, it's interesting because we were just talking about that, how things that, you know, that to us we take for granted as just regular things. Like here, grant writing and receiving grants to make music is just a normal part of the landscape. But in the United States, that might be mind-blowing. It's like, oh, you mean you're actually getting, you know, government's paying you to make music, or you're getting, you know, government funding to help you fund your record. It's like, yeah, that does happen here. That being said, it's competitive. You apply to them, you don't always get them, but sometimes you get them, and it can be a nice chunk of change. And it also is like validation. It's like I had this check from the Canada Council for the Arts, and it's like I just keep it up. I mean, I cashed the check, but the check, the check stub or whatever, I just keep it up on my vision board. As it's kind of a reminder that, okay, it's like, all right, I'm not crazy. It's like, 'cause sometimes you got to remind yourself you're not crazy. It's like, okay, if the Canada Council for the Arts thinks I'm worth funding, it's because, okay, what I'm doing, okay, pat myself on the back, keep going, keep at it, But to be honest, it's a bit too much of the landscape, because a lot of people here, they're so grant dependent that they'll apply for a grant, and then they don't get the grant, then they go, okay, well, I guess we don't do the project. And it's like, and I would never give the government that kind of power. It's like, if you get the grant, great, and if you don't, you still got to do the project, invest out of your own pocket, get some love money, or just do it at a lower budget, whatever. Like, find a way to do it. But no, don't be grant dependent, because that's another thing that happens here. So it's not, it has its advantages and disadvantages. In the United States, people are, because there's no grant system, people are more kind of like, it's more profit driven, and they want to, and I think it brings out a certain level of excellence. It's like, you want to make sure that this thing hits, and it's like, and there is no safety net. There's nobody going to give you money because they think your project is interesting, whatever, because you defend well to a grant body. It's like, this has got to sell. So yeah, it's different.
Interesting. So the times that you have successfully gotten a grant, what was your pitch, so to speak, or what was your approach the times that you've successfully gotten grants from the government? What was your angle to appeal to the Canadian government of arts and culture?
It goes in front of a jury, and I think 40% of it is the music, and then another 40% is how relevant the project is to your career and to the public at large. So it's how well you defend it, and then another 20% is how feasible it is. So 60% of it is actually not the music. It's just how you present it in terms of how you write it up. That being said, I've been on these jury committees, and if the music blows you away, you're not that concerned about what's written. I mean, it's so a lot of it does come down to the quality of material, for sure. But that and also, you get points for, are you bringing in a name producer on board? Do you have a vision of what you want to do? That kind of thing.
Very interesting. Well, this has been great, Matt. Any final thoughts about being a songwriter in today's landscape?
That's a big question. I think it's exciting because on the one hand, you can get the music out there with TikTok and stuff like that, and we were talking about Suno earlier, like it's just an AI program, and you can just like write the song and then have a vocal guitar demo that you sing to your phone, and then you upload that to Suno, and it creates this whole big arrangement for you. And this stuff sounds phenomenal. It sounds like it's already on the radio. It sounds really amazing. And but is it the most original stuff? It tends to be kind of a derivative. So I think it does come down to the human thing, and I think that what artists really need to do, I think we all need to do, is just get out there and like play laundromats, play on the street, play live in different settings, different weird settings, and capture it on video, and then share those videos with people, because I think people like live music is not going away, and people want that connection more than ever. So that's part of us that's not going to be replaced by robots.
Yes, humans will always crave that connection with other humans.
And also creatively too. Like I don't, all the top songwriters in Nashville, they were at this conference, and they were saying they're not worried about the future music with AI and stuff like that, because AI can enhance it. It can do, it can present it, but it can't really create it. I mean, I suppose it could, but it's not going to be groundbreaking. It's not going to be touching or moving or because it's like we were talking earlier about that unique point of view. Like it's that that's what's captivating about artists, is that unique personal point of view that they won't have.
Yes, that's. I believe that's true too. That's what we find interesting in any work of art, music, movie, book. It's seeing something from the unique perspective that the writer brought, which is something we all have. We all have a completely independently unique perspective because we have lived a life that has never been lived exactly that same way in the history of humanity. Our lives are so individually unique because of the experiences that have shaped us, that our point of view is really interesting, and if we can frame it in a way that is, I suppose, palatable, or in a way that people can access it and enjoy it, then I think that's probably the best thing.
And that's part of that's the kind of thing that AI can actually help us with, is make it palatable.
Make it palatable.
Yeah, you can have your unique, and that's what I've been using it for making demos, because you can have this, we write the melody and you write the lyrics and the chord progression and everything, and but it's a very rough guitar vocal thing, and it can take that and turn it into something that sounds like a happening record. Like that, it can't contribute anything new to what's going on. That's our job as artists and creative people. Yeah.
What's important is this right here.
Shipping creative work.
Yeah, Seth Godin's new book. You should check this out. Did you get into Rick Rubin's little book that he just put out, The Creative Act?
But I've heard about it. I've heard about people. You're not the first person who talked to me about it.
It is worth checking out. He's so wise, and it's all these little, all the chapters are a page long maybe, so it's all these kind of little maxims about living a creative artistic life and what that means, and what are the illusions behind it, and what are the actualities. And Seth's book is a lot like that too. I've been a subscriber to his blog for a while and read a few of his other books, like The Purple Cow and some of his famous ones. But he's right up there with like Malcolm Gladwell and some of these guys that are just very innovative thinkers about life and art and creativity and where it stands. And Seth's big thing is shipping creative work. Basically, like, one of the most generous and brave, like, those are the two words that I keep using lately, like generous and brave things that people can do, is to not only create a thing from their experience, but then actually deliver it. Because those are two different things. Like, creating the thing is great, and that probably it feeds something in yourself, but to actually put it out and say, I made this might help something in the world, this might be something that is of value, I made this, I'm going to put it out, and then I'm just going to do it again. And it's not about perfection. It's about, sometimes it's just imperfect, but actually delivering it and holding yourself accountable to that, and then getting to the next one and getting to the next one.
It really is a process. Like, think about that with the song that we're releasing, is the word, because you're releasing the record, you're really letting it go.
And at some point you have to stop carving. Like, you gotta, no more brush strokes. It's done. Like, you're trying to attain perfection, but it doesn't exist. Just put it out as it is. It's a snapshot of history right now of where you are in the world and where the world is with you, and put it out and start the next one, right?
That's it. Yeah.
And I think that's a good place to wrap it up here. I appreciate your time, your friendship, your creativity. The friendship we've had and the songs we've made are extremely precious and valuable to me, and I think they've enhanced a lot of other people's lives from hearing them as well. So we're going to keep making more songs.
Because there's this Nashville publisher who told me, like, I was like fiddling around with my bag at the time. I was having CDs and stuff like that, and then I was like, and I was like, okay, well, check out this song. And he looked at me and he goes, Matt, the songs that you have ahead of you are infinitely better than the songs that you have in that bag of yours. Oh. And I thought that was really cool. And he said that like 10 years ago, and he was right, because the stuff I'm writing now is way better than I was bitching to him back then. So I'm really curious to see what we write next.
Absolutely. I think our best work is always ahead of us, as long as we just keep approaching it honestly and creatively with our own unique point of views. Then our best work is always in front of us. The next time we meet, maybe we'll be celebrating a new cut or starting on the next song. Either one.
Hallelujah. Yeah, man, we're on our way.
Cheers to that.
Yes, cheers.
Ding.